Hello children, I'm here again with my video to explain on the topic soil erosion and soil conservation. This is the last topic of the chapter soil resources. Please listen it carefully. Every point is very important, and in fact this topic is very important. Now let's start the chapter. What is soil erosion? Soil erosion means the removal of topmost layer of the soil, that's a fertile layer of the soil, by the various agents of gradation or the forces of nature like rain, wind, and also and the human activities creates it. On the basis of agents, soil erosion can be classified into three types. They are erosion by running water, erosion by wind, and erosion due to human activities. Let's start with the first point, that is erosion by running water. Erosion by running water are caused by four ways, that is sheet erosion, reel erosion, gully erosion, and stream bank erosion. Now what is sheet erosion?
It is also known as the first stage of the water erosion or the initial stage. What happens in this stage? When the rainfall occurs, so the raindrops churn the topsoil and along with runoff, the muddy water moves away from the field. Or we can say it is a uniform removal of topsoil in thin layer from the field. So here you can see the picture, the first picture in this, the uniform loss of the soil, and in the second picture, if you see the surface of the soil, so you will see the surface soil get churned due to the rain splash, then the rill erosion, and this is a second stage of the water erosion. Uh, what happened in this stage? When there is a continuous rainfall, so there is no longer uniform removal of the water and channelization begins. Here you can see the channels begin and it is more apparent than the sheet erosion. Then the third stage is the gully erosion. It is the most spectacular form of erosion and at this stage deep cuts are formed on the ground. Friends, mainly gullies are formed due to the high velocity of water for a longer period of time. Next, the fourth is ravine. It is a result of long process of gully erosion when water is flowing continuously for a longer period of time with high velocity. So, the ultimately gullies are converted into the ravine.
Another type of erosion caused by the running water is stream bank erosion. The streams and the rivers changes their course by cutting down one bank and depositing the silt loads on the other side. This type of erosion is accelerated due to flash floods and damage takes place of the land, and thus the agricultural land changes into the ravines and wasteland. Another type of water erosion can be seen in the coastal areas, that is called seashore erosion. It is a long term removal of the sediments and the rock particles along the coastline due to the action of waves, ocean currents, or a tide. The powerful waves dashes against the coast and break hanging cliff rocks. Then this broken material is then removed by the retreating sea waves. This kind of erosion can be seen in India in the eastern and western coastal parts. Now let's move to the erosion by wind. What is wind erosion and where it is caused? Normally it is found in the arid and semi-arid areas.
So, friend, this is a second type of the soil erosion that is wind erosion. And friends, wind is nothing, it is a air mass in motion. Wind has a mass which require energy, and due to this energy, when the wind blow over the surface or in the atmosphere, so it detach the soil particles from its parent material or the soil surface. And if we go with the definition, so it is a process of detachment, transportation, and deposition of soil material by wind. Wind picks up the lighter particles, lifts them from the surface and transport them to a long distance. Then the type of the wind erosion. So there are three types of the wind erosion: saltation, surface creep, and the suspension. So what happened in the saltation? See, in the saltation, the soil particles which has the diameter 0.1 to the 0.5 millimeter, they jumped up vertically into the air and rise to a height of 30 to 60 centimeter and fall through the air. Means the soil particles move from one place to the another place by the jumping, and there is 50 to 70% weight of the soil get eroded due to the saltation. So the next type is a surface creep. Here in this picture you can see the process of the creeping. In this process, the coarse sand particles of which has the diameter 0.5 to the 0.3 millimeter, they get rolled over the surface because they are large particles and have heavy weight. So they get rolled only over the surface instead of jumping, and due to the creeping, 5 to 25% weight of the soil get eroded. And the next type is a suspension, where the fine dust particles float in the air due to its light weight or the small size of the soil particles, and due to the suspension process, only 3 to 4% weight of the soil get eroded.
Next is erosion by human activities. Various human activities add to the soil erosion. Firstly, the deforestation. Due to the high population, the demand for the food and the increasing, as well as the for building house and agricultural land, the forests are destroyed, and cutting down the trees expose the soil to water and wind, which leads to the soil erosion. Mining. The mining also cause the soil erosion because the vegetation covers are cleared for mining. The soil is exposed to wind or water, thereby causing the soil erosion. Another activity which causes the soil erosion is human activities are shifting cultivation. Shifting cultivation is done in the forested area by the tribal people, especially in India. It is found in the northeastern part of India, where the people clear the forest and burn it, and the cultivation is done on the land, where they do the cultivation for 2 to 3 years, and after that they again shift to another forested area where again they burn the forest. This is a very dangerous and causes the deforestation, thereby causing the area to be bare and soil exposing to soil erosion. The wrong method of farming, the various wrong method of farming, especially done in India, that is a traditional farming as well as absence of terrace farming, contour cultivation, crop rotations, and improper use of manure, also causes the destruction of the soil. Apart from the excessive use of the fertilizer and insecticides causes the losing of the soil fertility and increasing and degrading the soil fertility, increasing the acidic nature of the soil. The next is overgrazing. The number of domestic animals are quite more in India and thus highest in the world. So the cattle freely graze in open lands, making them bare of vegetations. So winds carry away the dry soil particles from the bare landscape, that is, they are exposed to the wind erosion or the water erosion. Now let's go to another topic of the chapter, that is soil conservation. It's very important. Now, what is soil conservation? Soil conservation means the technique through which we can protect soil from getting eroded. That is, it means that prevention of soil loss from erosion or prevention of reduced fertility of the soil caused by the overusage, acidification, and other types of soil contamination. Conservation of soil is very important. There are various methods to conserve soil. In fact, the conservation of soil is correlated to the prevention of soil erosion. The various types of soil conservation methods are: Firstly, the contour plowing. The contour plowing is done along the contours on the slopes perpendicular to the slope. The terraces are labeled into step-like small fields with even slope, and it helps in preventing the soil being washed away by rainwater or by surface runoff. Contours act like a bunch. Next method of soil conservation is afforestation, which is a very important, because forest is very important and clearing of forest is being going on in fast rate. It is said that if you are cutting one tree, you should plant two saplings. Thus, afforestation is very important to prevent the soil erosion. The next method of soil conservation is terrace farming, which is mostly done in the hilly areas to control the soil from being washed away by the water, where the slopes are cut into steps which act as a bund and prevent the soil from being washed away by the running water. The next is strip cropping. This strip cropping, the crops are grown in the alternate strips of land to check the impact of winds. The crops are grown perpendicular to wind or water, which act as a dams to the water. Another type of conservation method is construction of dams. Rivers cause soil erosion, thus, dams are built in the upper course of the rivers to control the erosion of the soil. It stabilizes the sedimentation and reduces the water velocity. Another methods of soil conservation is plugging gullies. The gullies made in soil are plugged with the stone-based construction system, which stops soil to flow through it but passes the water. Thus, in this way, it it conserves the soil and doesn't allow the soil erosion. The another method of soil conservation is shelter belts. That is, the farmer plants trees in the several rows to check the wind erosion. They are also known as windbreaks. Apart from that, the trees are also planted along the edges of fields, the wasteland, and on the steep slopes to prevent soil erosion by running water. So this not only prevents the soil erosion but enhances the capacity of the water to retain soil. With this, I finish my today's topic. Let's have a recapitulation. Today we learned soil erosion. What is soil erosion? Meaning, causes and agents, and the various ways to soil conservation. With this, I finish my today's topic and also the chapter soil resources. Please go through the question answers. I'll be sending the answers to the hard questions very soon. Till then, thank you and have a nice